Greetings, friend, and welcome. When ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and other frontier models introduced subscription plans, many users treated them as unlimited access to increasingly capable AI. As agent frameworks matured, developers began connecting those subscriptions to autonomous coding agents capable of running for hours, completing hundreds of requests, and automating entire workflows. The subscription was no longer paying for conversations. It had become fuel for autonomous software. Open source projects such as Open Code, OpenClaw, and other agent harnesses allowed developers to authenticate using an ordinary Claude subscription instead of paying API pricing. The model remained Anthropic's, but the surrounding software determined how it was used. Instead of chatting with Claude, users could have autonomous agents write code, debug projects, execute commands, and operate continuously. Traditional chatbot use is interactive. A person asks a question, waits for an answer, and stops. Agents behave differently. They plan, retry, inspect files, search documentation, rewrite code, call tools repeatedly, and sometimes make hundreds or thousands of model requests while pursuing a single objective. The same subscription suddenly represented very different compute costs depending on whether a human or an autonomous agent was behind the keyboard. Earlier policy changes narrowed how Claude subscriptions could be used with programmatic tools, separating interactive use from automated Agent SDK usage. Anthropic also experimented with moving Agent SDK traffic away from subscription limits and toward dedicated usage credits, reflecting the fact that autonomous use needed a different economic model. The company later paused those changes and ultimately prevented Claude subscriptions from being used through third-party agent harnesses, effectively reserving subscription authentication for its own products while pushing developers toward API billing or Anthropic-controlled tools. Community reports suggested projects such as OpenClaw and similar agent harnesses were directly affected. One technical explanation was prompt caching. Anthropic argued that Claude Code could optimize requests through internal caching techniques, while many third-party harnesses generated substantially more inference work for the same task. Whether developers agreed or not, the underlying issue was economic. Autonomous agents consume far more compute than conversational users. Large language models are extraordinarily expensive to run. Flat-rate subscriptions work reasonably well when humans interact with them intermittently. They become difficult to sustain when software operates continuously. The more capable AI agents become, the less compatible they are with traditional all-you-can-eat pricing. And that changes who controls the ecosystem. Open source developers build agent frameworks, but the frontier labs own the models. Without access to those models, the frameworks lose much of their value. That creates a structural dependency where independent innovation remains tied to whichever laboratory controls the underlying intelligence. For a brief period, developers could connect subscription plans to increasingly autonomous software and extract enormous value from a fixed monthly fee, but that window appears to be closing. The industry is moving toward pricing that reflects autonomous compute rather than human interaction. The era of cheap autonomous intelligence may already be ending. The frontier labs are discovering that AI agents don't behave like chatbot users. They behave like infrastructure customers. As a result, subscriptions are slowly giving way to controlled, metered ecosystems. If the companies building the world's most capable AI models also control who can build agents, how those agents connect, and how much autonomous work they are allowed to perform, who will ultimately control the agent economy? This is Micah Sai, and you're watching The Singularity Hub. Subscribe for more.